Today is the first lesson in our Knitting 101. So the first things that you will need, we're going to learn how to cast on. Now there's many different ways that you can cast on stitches, but we're just going to do two of the most basic and commonly used ones. So the only thing you will need for today's lesson are going to be your knitting needles. I'm using some circular needles, but you can use straight needles, and your ball of yarn, and I'm using just worsted weight acrylic. Now the first thing you will do is make a slip knot. Now you want to allow from the end of your yarn here, you want to allow about 6 inches because this will get woven in at the end, so you want to make sure that there's enough to weave in, not like a short little teeny tail. And you're just going to make a little slip knot. So here you can see my slip knot, and there is my tail. So I have about 6 inches. You're going to slide that onto one of the knitting needles and just snug it up. You don't want it real tight, but you don't want it overly loose either. Just nice, comfortable, snug fit. So now you can see this is my working yarn, or this is my tail. This is my working yarn. It's attached to the skein. Now you're going to use your slip knot is on the left needle. You're going to use the right needle, and you're going to go up through the underside of the loop. So you're not going down this way from the point down. You're going from the bottom of the needle up, and you're going right through the loop, and your right needle will go behind the left one, so it forms a cross. Now taking the yarn that is attached to the skein, this is the working yarn, you're going to wrap it around the back of the needles and bring it between the two, right between the crisscross of the two needles, right through here. You can see it right here. Then you're going to take this left needle and you're going to lift the left needle, get this close so you can see it. You're going to lift the left needle up and over. This right here is the yarn that you passed between the two needles. It's now a loop, and it's on your right needle, and you're going to slip it onto the left needle and pull it snug. So now you have 2 stitches on your needle. So let's do that again. You're going to take your right needle, put it from the underside of the loop up through the loop so it forms a cross. Take your working yarn, pass it behind both needles and around to the left and then between the 2 needles. Then you take your left needle, you pass it over the top of the right needle, and there is your next loop. And that's going to go onto your right needle. So now you have 3 stitches. We'll do it again. Up through the bottom, it forms a crisscross. Your working yarn goes around and between the 2 needles. The yarn on the needle on the left goes over top of the right needle. Here's your loop, and you pass it onto the left needle. So now you have 4 stitches. So let's do a few more. Goes up, around, over, and pass on. Up, around, over, and pass on. You're going to do 50 stitches just like this. Now the other method of casting on stitches I use if I'm going to be casting on more than 50. What you're going to do is starting at the edge of your thread here, you're going to measure out for 50 stitches, probably about a yard of yarn. And then you're going to make a slip knot. For this particular cast on, you will only need one needle. So you now have your slip knot right here. You're going to slip the needle through it, and then you're going to hold the two ends of the yarn. One of these is a working yarn, one is the leftover long tail, that yard of yarn that I talked about. You're going to form a V, holding it with your fingers like this. Then you're going to tip your thumb up. Now using your right needle, you're going to gather the yarn from under, so underneath the loop that it forms, and then you're going to grab the yarn on your right side with the needle and pull it through like this, and then release with your thumb and pull that stitch taut. You now have two. Here it is again, a V, flip your thumb up, grab from under here, under the loop, grab the yarn on your index finger, pull it taut. You now have three. We'll do it again. Here's a V, flip your thumb up, pass the needle in your right hand under the loop, grab the yarn on your index finger, pull it through, release your thumb, and pull it taut, and now you have four. We'll do a few more. V, throw your thumb up, grab under the loop, grab under your index finger, and pull. There's five. So I'll do a few more, a little faster. As you can see, this is a much quicker cast on, and this is called the long tail cast on. Okay, you are going to continue. If you choose this cast on, you're also going to continue this until you get 50 stitches on your needle. So that's our lesson for today, is just setting up the cast on. Next Wednesday's lesson, or lesson 2 if you're watching these one right after the other, will be the basic knit or garter stitch.